BBC News at midday. The former Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, has told the COVID inquiry he was reassured by the World Health Organization that the UK was well prepared for a pandemic, but that turned out to be wrong. Mr. Hancock said Britain's strategy was flawed because it focused on dealing with the consequences of an outbreak, such as a large number of deaths, rather than preventing it. He said it was profoundly sorry for every death. Mr. Hancock was asked why he didn't do more to address the problems after he became Health Secretary 18 months before the pandemic struck.
Had I known the pandemic was about to strike, then I would have done that. But this was an unprecedented pandemic, and nobody was to know. This was not regarded as a number one problem that needed to be fixed.
We've just heard that strike action by members of the Royal College of Nursing will not continue after the union's ballot in England failed to achieve a mandate. While the majority voted to continue industrial action, the numbers taking part in the ballot were well below the 50% threshold required under trade union laws. Of those who voted, 84% were in favour of strike action. The England and Wales Cricket Board has issued an unreserved public apology for its failings after a report found widespread racism, sexism and class-based discrimination in the game. The Independent Commission for Equity in Cricket has issued 44 recommendations and given the governing body 3 months to come up with an action plan. The board has promised to reset cricket. Chevy Green is from the charity ACE, which encourages young people of African and Caribbean heritage to try cricket.
I hope cricket embraces what's being put out there. It's in black and white. It's not come as a surprise for some people involved in the game. It will come as a surprise for some others. I hope people don't feel the recommendations are an attack, but an opportunity rather to provide more opportunities to many people to enjoy and embrace and feel that cricket is a game for them.
The partner of Nicola Bulley, who drowned in Lancashire in January, has told the inquest into her death that she was private and preferred to keep herself to herself. Paul Ansell then became emotional and had to take a break from giving evidence. He'd earlier described Miss Bulley as being full of beans on the morning of her disappearance. Her body was found in the River Wye more than 3 weeks later. The former chief executive of Audi has been convicted of fraud by negligence for his role in the diesel emissions scandal. Rupert Stadler is the first senior manager to be convicted over the use of software that made diesel cars appear less polluting in emissions tests than they really were. He was given a suspended sentence and a fine of €1.1 million. That's about £945,000. Russia's defense ministry says preparations are underway for Wagner mercenaries to hand over their military equipment after their mutiny when they marched on Moscow. Vladimir Putin said they had been misled into a criminal adventure and could choose to join the regular military, return to their families, or go to neighboring Belarus. All criminal charges have now been dropped against those who took part in the rebellion at the weekend. A plane linked to the head of Wagner, Yevgeny Prigozhin, has landed in the Belarusian capital Minsk. The Russian MP, Evgeny Popov, supports the way Mr. Putin is dealing with the mutineers.
Mr. Prigozhin is a traitor, you should understand. But most of the soldiers who took part in this mutiny were deceived by Prigozhin. But I don't know the reasons. Maybe it's like some personal ambitions or something other, but I don't care.
The singer-songwriter Lewis Capaldi has announced that he's taking a break from touring for the foreseeable future after visibly struggling during his performance at Glastonbury at the weekend. He said he was still adjusting to the impact of his Tourette's diagnosis and needed more time to get his mental and physical health in order. BBC News.